My name is Rich Thomas, and I will be taking you through a day in the life of the process crew. I'm walking into the catch pen right now. I latch the gates, and we have a bungee cord as a source of secondary security. As you can see, the crates are all staged with straw in them and doors facing out, except the very bottom row. If you notice the very bottom row, the doors are facing in so that the birds cannot push their way into the crates on their own. Now I'm walking down our walk lane, which is where we stage our birds prior to driving them into the catch pen. What we're going to be doing in this pen, this is one of our flight pens, what we're going to be doing is what we call a wraparound, and what we're going to drive the birds out using, it looks like there's about 5 guys, so we drive half the pen at a time. I'll be acting as the pivot point. What this does is allows you to empty the pens with fewer guys. So we drive half the pen at a time, and I act as a pivot point. So there's one guy, which is me in this video, at the pivot point, another guy along the fence line, and the other 3 guys are spaced evenly in between. And you just go all the way around, pushing the birds in front of you. There's not very many birds in here, as this is towards the end of the season. You can tell there's not a whole lot of cover either. This will be a time-consuming process here, but doing it this way enables you to empty the pens with less people. At this point, I'm just waiting for the people to my right to get in line and space out evenly, and then they'll slowly start moving forward, and I'll kind of just turn to the left, keeping all the birds to my left. As you can see, they're starting to make their way towards me now, and as the guys get to the corner, I'll continue to shift to my left to decrease the space between me and the fence, and the guys to my right will continue to come that way, come towards me, and keep the birds in front of us. Every now and then a couple get past and you have to go back and grab those with a net. As in right there. We also have gates in the back of the pens, so a lot of times, as I'll show you after this move, we'll go open the back gate, and anything we missed we'll just push into the next pen and then drive that pen out as well. So you can see there to the left we put straw down in the lanes to help clean the tails up before they enter the catch pens. Just keeps the tails looking cleaner, less likely to get tied together. This is the point in which everyone wants to rush because they have all the birds in front of them. What we try to do is to keep the birds from flushing at this point. The rule of thumb is if the birds are moving towards the gate, you don't have to. Getting everyone on the same page and accomplishing that goal is a whole nother task in itself. Okay, so now we're to the gate. We closed it up, that gate, and someone ran back and opened the back gate, and we're just pushing the last few that got past us through the back gate at this point. That's our little walk gate right there in front of us on the left. Okay, almost all of them. And now we have entered the next pen, and we'll be pushing this pen out into the lane, and at that point we'll start walking up the lane and begin the catch. I also try to get as many people as possible to pull as much cover as possible through the top net as you're walking through the pen. Just less places that the snow can pile up and cause damage. Especially if you're emptying the pen for the final time of the season. And again here, patience is the key. The birds will only move so fast. Rushing them just causes them to flush, leading to tail damage, birds behind you, all sorts of things that aren't good. It looks like we probably got about 300 birds in front of us here. And that's the flushing I was talking about. Sometimes it's inevitable, but we try to keep it to a minimum. And now we're walking them up the lane into the catch pen. We try to maximize the number and going into the catch pen at right around 600. Any more than that, and they tend to pile in the corners, and you just cannot catch them fast enough to keep them from harming themselves. So our golden rule is right around 500 to 600 we can catch at a time. And again, we try to keep them from flying, but it's even more difficult at this point. They see those crates and want to stop right there before them, so from time to time you do have to push them to the point of making them fly. Again here, patience is the key. That's our kickboard that goes in place that the gate closes up against. It secures tightly to keep the birds in the catch pen once we get them in there. We ship some birds with peepers on, some with peepers off. I believe in this shipment these will all be peepers off. So I'll be able to show you how we go about removing the peepers as we go. Those small crates that you see in the front there, those hold 5 roosters per crate. And the guys are wearing a belt which has a pouch on it, and they're just nipping the peeper right as they go and pulling the peeper off, dropping it into the pouch, and loading the bird into the crate without the peeper. You may have noticed 2 different types of crates in that catch pen earlier when I was walking past. There's big crates and small crates. The big crates hold up to 10 roosters per crate, and the small crates hold 5 roosters per crate. As you can see now, there's one person in each corner on his knees catching, cutting the peepers off and loading the birds into the crates. The birds naturally want to congregate into the corners, so that's the point in which you catch them. Just makes it easier on the guys, because the birds always run to the corners. If you don't have a guy in the corner, if you only have 3 guys and there's 4 corners, they're all going to be in that 4th corner. It's inevitable. We try our best to never catch with less than 4 guys, because they inevitably run to the corner where there's no one at. Each guy works on his own crate until the end. At the end of the catch, we take stock of what's left to be caught, what's left for birds in the catch pen, and work together at that point. But until the very end of the catch, each guy works in his own crate to keep numbers to themselves and avoid errors. As you can see on the right hand side of the catch pen there's a small gate which goes into the pen to the right. We typically use those for what we call our throw off pens, and typically that's if we're catching roosters and there's a few hens mixed in, we'll slide them off into our throw off pen there. Or if we have too many birds in a catch pen or too many birds in the lane which end up in the catch pen, we'll just drive them into the throw-off pen if we've just emptied a pen out, to avoid putting them back into a pen that we just emptied out. Or if there's some tails that aren't ideal, that's where they will go as well. In this situation, since we didn't empty that last pen that we drove out, the extra birds that are in the catch pen, we're just driving back down the lane and putting back in the same pen, and that's what's being shown here. We had a few more than we needed, so we're just putting the rest back in the pen to come back and get next time. Looks like we had probably 100 extra birds this time. This is a copy of one of our crate number sheets. This is our daily shipment sheet, everything that's going out for the day. And this is one of our load plans on a gooseneck. We keep things color coded for certain customers or certain species of birds, depending on how the truck needs to be loaded. And this last one here is the same thing, just for a smaller truck, a 4x4 truck. This is one of our goosenecks, which is about to leave the farm. As you can see, the big crates in the back have open sides, which help to keep the crates in place. A tarp over the top, and then we have small crates on the front, which have closed sides to keep the wind off of them, and the truck as well has closed sides. I believe those were partridge on this shipment, and those you want to keep sealed nice and tight. And that is the day in the life of the process crew. Thank you.